Naked Gun are treasures. Those movies are so funny. Not all equally, but I had a great, you got a good Canadian kid, comedic, all-time Hall of Famer.
Oh, he's one of my favorites.
Oh, and it was just so well done. Like it was, but the Naked Gun movies came in an era when spoof movies were actually really good, right? Like whether you had, name your Mel Brooks one. Mel Brooks did a ton of them. Obviously, Spaceballs is like one of my all-time
Young
favorites.
Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein.
High Anxiety.
I mean,
So good.
you could go on and on and on. He was fantastic. And then the Val Kilmer one, Top Secret.
I love Top Secret.
But Airplane ushered in a new era.
Airplane was,
From the same team.
But I still remember Top Secret. Latrine! It's so good. A lot of people would be shocked to find out that Mr. Carson from Downton Abbey was in that. Val Kilmer was great in it. Not Top Gun, the Top Gun rip.
Hot Shots.
Hot Shots.
And
Hot
Part
Shots
Deux.
and Hot Shots Part Deux.
And I loved Loaded Weapon. That was one of the last
Loaded
ones.
Weapon was great.
That was one of the last great ones in the early 90s.
And then came the dark times where buckets of liquidized shit got poured all over audience members as they went out to see pieces of trash like Meet the Spartans and The Ilk. It just seemed like every 5 months a new one of these complete garbage things were being put out in theater, and it literally killed the genre. It killed it.
Not another date movie, not another teen
Yeah,
movie.
all
No
those.
more I'm Gonna Get You Sucker.
No, those days were
Those
gone.
are good. I
mean-
love that was the last good one.
But that was a while ago, right?
Long time.
I mean, so you literally had this succession of garbage that literally killed the genre. And now Paramount has announced that they are bringing back Naked Gun. This comes from the folks at Variety. Said that's a long gestating reboot of Naked Gun franchise with Liam Neeson. With the Liam Neesons. Is finally moving forward at Paramount, landing a release date of about a little over a year from now, July 15th, 2025. The currently untitled project will be directed by executive producer, anyway, on and on. Most important thing, they're bringing back Naked Gun, and it's going to star Liam Neeson. Now, if any of you are thinking right now, Liam Neeson doing comedy, I highly recommend you go to YouTube and look up Liam Neeson, Ricky Gervais, and AIDS. I just put that into the search, watch the video that comes up, and tell me Liam Neeson would not be awesome in something like this. So, I mean, that's a great matchup. But Rob, I've got a question. With everything we just talked about, like, yeah, there was a golden era of spoof kind of movies, followed by the dark times that just killed everything. Even with somebody as brilliant and such brilliant casting as Liam Neeson in this role, do you think movie audiences are ready to try spoof films again? What do you make of all this? Hey guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, The Perfect Jean. Guys, are you tired of the rough and rigid jeans crushing your boys? Well, today's sponsor, The Perfect Jean, finally solved all of your denim difficulties. They make great looking, perfect fitting jeans that are as comfortable as sweatpants. The secret? A special denim fabric that is super soft and has the perfect amount of stretch so you can squat, do yoga, or just sit around all day without ever having to take them off. I'm going to admit I was a little bit skeptical because to me, jeans have always been jeans. They're practical, but not always the most comfortable. But I'm telling you guys, it's not an exaggeration. Once I put on these jeans, the Perfect Jean redefined what jeans can be to me. They're the perfect fit, they stretch, they breathe, and again, they're just insanely comfortable. So guys, it's finally time to stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectjean.nyc/Campea15. Our listeners get 15% off your first order plus free shipping, free returns and free exchanges when you use code Campea15 at checkout. Again, that's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc/Campea15 and use the code Campea15. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support the John Campea Show and tell them we sent you.
Oh, I think this could be the return to greatness of great politically incorrect humor. They have to skewer everyone. They have to leave our young whippersnappers that aren't used to this kind of comedy scratching, bawling their eyes out when the movie's over. It's going to be so, like, if you look at the first Airplane, That movie is still one of the most hilarious movies ever made, but it is so politically incorrect. So look at, and if you talk about one of the great spoof movie of all time, maybe the beginning, which we didn't mention. We talked about Mel Brooks, but we didn't mention Blazing Saddles.
One of probably the top 5 greatest comedy.
Which now has a trigger warning when it airs on, you know, cable or people watch it on streaming. And it's like, okay, if you don't understand that this is a send-up of all of these things, it's politically incorrect, but it's skewering all of this, like, racism.
It's calling attention to it.
It's destroying it through political incorrectness. Our world needs this now. And I would say go as far as you can. And, you know, for Liam Neeson is kind of Leslie Nielsen when he was doing the Naked Gun movies, and even when in Airplane, you know, and Don't Call Me Shirley. I mean, he brought that.
Yeah. And
so Liam Neeson can play. It's perfect casting, because even when you see him in, like, Love Actually, when he's talking to his son about being in love, his son's, I'm in love, Dad. His empathy and his ability to do comedy, even though he's playing off of his son, he's perfect. And when you see him do sketches, I can already hear what they could do in this movie, and I think it would be amazing to see if it's pulled off. If it's pulled off, they have to be fearless.
I think with Akiva here directing, possibly, if that's true. I mean, this guy has comedy like prowess. Man, this guy's hilarious.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
So it's in the hands of someone who gets it. You know what I mean? "Quote unquote" gets it.
They just have to go all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were having a really interesting discussion about one of the single funniest moments. You know, Mel Gibson is responsible for, I think, the 2 single funniest moments ever in the history of film. My number one, you guys have heard me say this before, is Spaceballs. I don't do any justice, but it's when it's Dark Helmet says, now Lone Star.
You said Mel Gibson, Mel Brooks.
Oh, Mel Brooks, sorry. Yeah, Mel Gibson wrote the funny. When Mel Brooks was doing, when he did Spaceballs and Dark Helmet says, now Lone Star. It's all in the delivery, but now Lone Star, as Rick Moranis says it, you will see that evil will always triumph because good is dumb. I've never laughed harder in my life than that. But the second one is Blazing Saddles. Which when he's distracted, the black guy, he stands up and goes, because you're running from the Klan members, hey, where are the white women at? And I just died. And, you know, we were having a really interesting conversation before the show started about, you know, can a spoof movies like this get into that realm of comedy today? Because, you know, there's often this discussion about, could they do The Office today? Like, if The Office wasn't made then, could they have made it today? And a lot of people say they couldn't. I completely argue that they absolutely could, because I think audiences can embrace that kind of humor when it's clearly coming with the right spirit. And then Jonathan brought up a great example. The Colin Jost, Michael Che weekend updates on Saturday Night Live, when they write each other's jokes and they don't get to review them before they're live on air, it is some of the edgiest. Like, how can you possibly say that? But everybody loves it because it's understood, it's in the right spirit, right? And I think The Office would be embraced that way today. And I think if they decide to do something like that, oh my God, I think it's in number 2 when she's climbing up the ladder and he looks up and he says, nice beaver. And she brings down the taxidermied beaver. Anyway, a lot of people think you can't do that humor anymore, but I 100% believe you can. And I think the audiences will embrace it as long as it's coming from clearly a spirit of fun. I think the audiences will be okay with that.
You know, you might be right. It's interesting because when you sit down and settle in and watch a movie, and they're going to hit you right in front, and they're gonna drop those nukes right at, so the audience is like, oh, hey. And then when the movie continues on, if they do it correctly, then people will understand what comedy is supposed to be.
Over under 5%. Over or under 5%. We get an O.J. Simpson cameo.
I think under.
I'm setting the number really low.
You might get a reference though.
Yeah,
maybe a reference.
The problem is he wasn't just canceled.
Oh no,
he's a murderer.
Oh,
so
but I mean, if you're talking about go all the way, make it as edgy to the edge as you possibly can.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they should.
You know what? Though?
I'm not saying they should
I'll
do
tell you
it.
something. I'm going to go 5% because there might be, depending on how far they want to go. A lot of our audience today doesn't even know who O.J. Simpson is, was, or why. They don't know.
Right.
So he might show up. Half the audience is going to be like, huh? But if they went that far, I mean, wow.
And just for the record, I am not saying they should do that. I'm not saying they think they will.
I mean, Mike Tyson's in The Hangover.
That's true. When you said push it as far as you can go, I started thinking, well, how far could you possibly go? And that's when I thought of the OJ thing. And for those of you who didn't know, OJ Simpson appeared in the other Naked Gun films.
Yes.
Anyway, question is for you guys. What do you think about this? I mean, Liam Neeson in the role is brilliant, but are audiences ready for spoof films again after the whole genre was so thoroughly destroyed? Whatever you guys think, let us know down in the comment section below.
They got to bring back that little kid who's now an adult, turning around going, so do you like movies about gladiators? Although that's an airplane joke.
That's what I was going to say. Different movie. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.